I'm Lyss.
I'm Lex.
And this is our podcast. Welcome, guys.
And chai.
And chai, if you're watching on video. This is actually Chai's big debut.
I know.
We need to get Chaco in here.
Oh, trust me. The second we can have both of them on our laps, we will. Like, it's just how it's going to be.
It will be. We're going to describe the little rebrands because for those of you at home who are subscribed to Tea with P, you're probably like, what's happening?
Yes, what's going on?
I feel like you guys are familiar with Lex being a guest on the show. I had her on a few times in a row. Chai's going nuts because I have treats next to me. I was talking to Lex one day. What was it? You were a guest on my podcast and we went and got tacos and quesadillas. Yes.
And it just went, it was so easy. And we were talking and you're like, what if we just did this on a more regular basis?
Yes.
Like forever.
Like forever, yeah.
I think what was so special was when we got together and we were doing the podcast, it felt like we were just hanging out talking.
We're getting rid of Chai. We're ridding her we're ridding her from the studio.
Yeah, it was like, it was so natural and it was just like we were hanging out and we could have talked for hours and we were like, wait, we should do this.
That's what attracted me to podcasts that I used to listen to all the time. It was
yes, that's what you said.
Listening to friends and it was listening to women.
It felt like
and
you're like a part of conversation.
Exactly. And I was like, that's what I like. And I always try to do, like, as a consumer, if this is what I like, that's probably what other people like too.
Yes.
Or someone out there has to like that.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I aim for. So we're doing a little limited series right now just to kind of kick things off.
Let's give it a go. I'm excited. I'm so ready.
I'm so ready.
I've been like so waiting patiently for this. I'm like, I have so much to say and it couldn't be a better time.
Over these 6 weeks, we have some really great topics planned out for you guys about friendship, fertility, business.
Yes. There's really good, juicy, deep topics.
Yeah. So today we're going to focus on making friends as adults. But first, we wanted to give you guys like a little personal life update and just update you guys on like what's going on in our lives.
I mean,
you first.
Okay. If you follow my Instagram at all, you hear my pain every day. I have the noisiest neighbors, and it sucks because you just moved really close to me.
So close.
But I am moving in 2 days. I am so excited. I'm all packed up. It's like I can't get out of there fast enough.
You hit a wall with that place.
I hit a wall, and I just can't get back. And it's like dark in the living room, and the neighbors are so noisy. I feel like I'm starting to go crazy. And I'm only moving 7 minutes away, so I'm still going to be close.
Yeah, it's close.
I am so excited. I honestly, all I've been thinking about is waking up Saturday in this new place.
Aww.
And how excited I am for that.
But the thing is, like, I love a move. I move every year like you. Like, we're the worst. But the thing is, like, I think it switches up your energy. And that's why I think I like moving. I like redecorating.
I know you do.
I like to do that. Like,
and so this was a big indicator. And I remember I FaceTimed you because I was like, I love your decorating and I wanted you to see it like as a blank canvas so I can still FaceTime you next time. But I was like, when I got into that space, when I went to take measurements, I was just like, I'm so excited to decorate and do that. I didn't feel that way about where I currently live. I just like dumped my stuff. I didn't even hang pictures on the wall.
That goes to show.
It was like I knew in my gut I wasn't going to be there for long. And so now I'm like, this is like my space. I'm going to make it, you know, my home.
Your happy place.
And I think you're right. And we talked about this with dating too, of like, you have to like switch up your energy.
100%.
And I feel like this place is like swallowing my energy.
Yeah.
And I'm already feeling this like new motivation and spark and excitement for just life in general. I feel like that place is like swallowing me.
I think there's like apartment depression. I know that sounds bizarre.
But I think it's dark. Like it's, you know, and so it's like you don't get that light. Like it feels like you're suffocating. Like I think it'll make where I'm moving is like open and airy. Like you'll see it.
Light.
Yeah.
Well, I had this one apartment one year and it was the most depressed year of my life. And I don't think it was the apartment's fault necessarily. Like I was just unwell. But I can't even look at that street in New York. Like when I look at like 24th Street, I'm like vomit.
Yeah.
It just triggers such bad memories because I'm like, there was unhappy times there. Mm-hmm. I'm just like I want to rid of it. It was dark
I know.
times.
I'm like, I feel like I'm like getting rid of the bad juju by moving out of there. I'm so excited. So that is like the only thing I've been focused on. That and the fact that Pinterest is going to Coachella. And that's it. That's all I do.
That's amazing. Well, okay, then, because I want people to know who are new to both of us, like people that are finding me through you
and vice versa,
what we do. But first, I'll share my personal life update, and then we'll give our professional background. We'll give our LinkedIn 101. So basically, I just moved to new studio, better equipment. It's still a work in progress. The curtain behind Lex is going to be a different color, but this is pretty much it. I'm really happy with it. I'm really pleased. I literally, blood, sweat, and tears, drilled up these curtains and made the studio come to life, lugging these cameras around. Mm-hmm. But my bigger updates are the fact that I've been so overwhelmed. I feel this sense of overwhelmed that I haven't felt in a really long time with finances, medical, and time.
Just
scheduling. I feel like 2024 is the busiest year of my life so far. Mm-hmm. It's 1.5 months. It's 2 months in.
But you've had so many major life changes and they keep coming.
Many things. And it's not stopping for another 6 months. So I literally think this will be the busiest year of my life. Updates that I've been keeping from you guys are, 1, I am moving to the East Coast. I just can't. For 3 months. So I am not moving back. I'm going to be completely honest. I have no desire to move back. I absolutely love California. I'm really happy with my life here. I love my friends here. It's way too soon to ever make a move back.
No. You've just got settled.
Yeah, I'm so happy. But I don't say what Sean does professionally. Yeah. But that said, my boyfriend, he got an opportunity to go to New Jersey for 3 months for his work. And basically, I rather him go to New Jersey than somewhere random like Louisiana or whatever. So I'm take it. Also, it just so happens that it's the best 3 months for me because it's my dad's birthday. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's my sister's giving birth. Mm-hmm. It's I'm doing something business wise on the East Coast in June.
And for people that are coming for me, you're from Jersey.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right?
So
your family is there.
Yes.
So you're also going to have 3 months with your family.
And with Sean
really
in my happy place with my friends.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm so thrilled. I'm so happy we're going for 3 months. What I'm saying is I'm not ready to fully move back.
Yeah, 100%.
But the 3 months I'm excited about.
Oh yeah, and they're great 3 months.
Yeah.
So will you be there for 4th of July?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Wait, you should come out a weekend to the Jersey Shore.
I will. I've never been to the Jersey Shore.
I was talking to Lauren about this.
Let's do this.
It's so fun. It's the best, and
I'm in.
I'm really excited. I really am so excited, but I'm not ready to move. But why I'm so overwhelmed is balancing 2 rents because we have to get an apartment for 3 months. And the logistics of that, signing a lease and this and that, shipping my car, all of the logistics.
Wait, you're going to ship your car there for those 3 months?
Yeah.
Is that cheaper than renting a car?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I found a good little Instagram deal, which I'm still paying, but yes, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And then on top of that stuff, I think the reason why I'm mostly so stressed, and then I'll stop going on and on about this, is I have documented it a little bit on TikTok, but I have PCOS and I have a fibroid in my uterus. A fibroid is a benign tumor. It's 9 centimeters. I need to get it out. So I finally bit the bullet and made my surgery date. Mm-hmm. And then I found out how much my insurance wasn't going to cover, even though it's in network. Self-employed, my insurance, I pay for a great insurance, but it's still just not the best. And I had a literal breakdown, and then it sent me into a complete spiral about healthcare in America.
Girl, I'm Canadian. Don't get me started on this topic. If we want to do a whole episode of me screaming, we can.
I was,
if you can't afford to live,
sobbing.
You can't live here. They're literally basically saying there is a cost to your life.
Well,
and it's so expensive.
Because I'm an empath, I was I could afford this, but what if I could? Then I'm crying for everyone else. I was on a rip. I was how do people do this? What if your kid gets sick? What? I was so livid.
It's mental.
So I was on a whole tear about that, spiraling about the cost and I want to freeze my eggs this year. And I was going down a deep spiral of they tell you to save for a house and for kids and for college tuition for those future kids and all of these things. And it's if all of my savings is going to my reproductive health before I even have the kids, how am I going to afford the rest of it?
So I know.
This is where
America.
I'm in a dark place.
I mean, I'm so sorry to hear that because I do empathize with you. I froze my eggs. I was really fortunate to not have any issues like PCOS and things like that. But like, I have insurance through my job and like, it's really beneficial, but we didn't have the same benefits in Canada that we had in the US. Like the second I moved here, I was like, I'm freezing my eggs because they cover it. Like that's such a luxury that people don't get.
See, I don't have that luxury.
And it's just like, again, to your point, if people, like, if you get sick in any capacity, what do people do? What do people do without insurance?
Well, this is why I'm flipping out. And then I'm like, insurance doesn't even do shit anyway.
I know.
I was just, it sent me down a tailspin of just like, I am privileged and I could do this. I'm just complaining about doing it because it's a lot
But it's also shocking to your system when you realize like, how, like, yes, your insurance covers it. But like, again, to your point, there are people that don't have that.
That's why I was flipping out.
And why is that even, like, how is that even a factor of living in America?
No, it's crazy.
Insane.
So we could talk about that more on, like, the fertility episode and PCOS and all of that. But I've been dealing with that this week. Oh, wait, really? And then just a funny caveat. So then I go to the dentist today just to get, like, a cleaning.
No.
They hit me with a $2,400 root canal. Then I go to my car, $55 ticket. I'm like, what do you mean?
Why do you need a root canal?
I have an old cavity that, like, recavitied.
Is it painful?
Not really, but, like, she said if I leave it, the risk is that it could, like, affect my nerve, whatever. Oh. So now I have to get my first ever root canal. I'm like, when it rains, it pours. Like, I'm just getting hit from every which way.
And that's what happens. It's like, I had another girlfriend, she had to take her dog to, like, the emergency vet, and then it was this, and she said, she was texting me, right, because she's living here from Canada for a few months, and she was just like, that money was my rent money. Like, I don't know, she's also a founder, she's self-employed, and she's like, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out, and I'm just like, how is this okay? Like, what is happening right now? What's in the stars?
And I'm just telling myself, I told you this a little over text, but I'm like, I just tell myself, like, I'm abundant. I'm going to do a money manifestation. And again, I'm not complaining because I luckily do have savings. I'm just disappointed that my savings is just keep getting pulled from.
Well, that's like, the thing. It's like, you're just like
I thought savings were for later down the road, not today.
I know, not now. And suddenly later down the road is here and you're like, what the fuck?
So I'm just a baby. Am I just aging or
no, you're just becoming an adult.
Yeah.
It sucks.
So that's my personal life update.
Don't you also, the last thing I'll say about this, because this is what I think all the time. I'm like, how the fuck did my parents pay for all of this shit with like 2 kids?
I don't get it.
A house, like.
This is why I'm struggling. I was having a full-blown panic attack.
You're like, I'm one person.
I was like, no, because I was like panicking, like future thinking. Like I was like, my kid's college tuition. Like,
yes,
I was just freaking out about how do people live life
and afford to live life
when you could plan all you want, but you could get hit with these things that you don't know you're going to get hit with.
Yep.
And that's what was such a big wake-up call to me.
I know. It's so exhausting. This happened, like, I went through this in December with all this stuff, but it's to your point, it'll come back. The abundance of it all. Like, yes, it's stressful, but you will get through it. The only way out is through, and you will be at the other side, and it'll be a distant memory.
Yeah.
But I know it's all at once, and it feels so heavy. Like, when these things happen, I always, like, feel very alone, which, like,
so alone.
Not because I don't have people. It's just like you're taking this on all by yourself.
And I think another thing that really sent me on another spiral is I come from a very privileged area. I have very privileged friends, and all of them are freezing their eggs around this year as well, but they're not paying for it.
Yeah.
Their parents are paying for it, which good for I wish my parents were paying for it. That's my point. But I was like, it's like I can't even get advice from people in my life because everyone's like, just do it this winter. I'm like, easy for you to fucking say. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So then that was making me spiral even more because everyone's like, oh, yeah, I don't know the costs. Like, I don't know. My parents handled it.
They haven't even thought about it.
No.
Because they haven't had to.
And so I'm just like, you know, again, I'm not going to complain about money because, again, I'm fine. But it was just one of those weeks where it felt like everything was just hitting me from all directions. And you know what? We will get through it. It is fine. But the fibroid surgery, I think I am canceling because I was going to go the surgical route, which is inpatient and basically a C-section. But now
what?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. 4 to 6 weeks recovery. Now I've talked to a few different doctors and they said to go the laparoscopic route, which is outpatient, which my insurance covers more of.
What does that mean?
It's less invasive and way better recovery. So I think I'm going to switch it up. These are the things I've been dealing with, like really heavy things. Like this is surgery on my uterus.
Yeah. And it's like you said, 4 to 6 weeks. It's not like a simple in and out.
No.
Even with freezing my eggs, I had my retrieval. I was drinking an Aperol spritz 3 hours later. Like, you know?
This is like in bed. People need to help me out of bed. Like bad. Yeah. So that's what's been going on with me. I will keep you guys posted. I am going to be documenting this process because I do think no one talks about this stuff.
It's super important. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it needs to be discussed. We'll do a whole episode on this stuff. But could we quickly just touch on professional?
Yeah.
Give us your
what do I do?
Your resume.
I work on brand experiences and brand partnerships at Pinterest. Yeah. I've been there for like almost 5 years.
It's unbelievable.
I started there in Toronto in Canada. They moved me here to the US. Like, it'll be 3 years in May, which is so crazy. I'm also going through my green card process. So, like, we can touch on that in the professional conversation, like visas and global experience and things like that. But yeah, I do fun. My job is really fun.
It is.
I love my job. It's just a lot.
She's working on something for Coachella. So it's like that's been so busy as well.
It's been really busy, but I'm really excited about it.
It will be so rewarding.
Yeah.
And then for me, I started my career as a publicist and kind of forayed that into entertainment and social media and TikTok and podcast. And I launched a tea business this year. So this is my first flavor, Binge Watch Black Tea. I'm actually drinking it because I needed a little caffeine boost. And I have a second flavor launching in a few weeks. Oh, and I host tea parties. So far I've done 2 in LA, but they will be popping up around the country. So stay tuned.
I know.
But that's kind of what I'm working on.
I know, and I'm excited for your second tea.
Me too. I'm so excited. Like everything is coming together. Let's get into today's topic. Making friends as an adult.
Making friends as an adult. And I feel like, I would say we're very qualified to talk about this. We both, like, I moved to a new country in my 30s. You moved across the country in your 30s. We had to basically start from scratch here.
Yeah.
And that's not easy. And I get asked about this. I do Q&As on Sundays on my Instagram. I get asked this question almost every single week.
Do you know I get it almost every time I do a Q&A as well? Every time. And first of all, it makes me sad. Like
there's
how lonely people are.
Yeah, there's a loneliness epidemic.
I know because I've definitely felt that way. I think, tell me if you agree, I think the loneliest time in like a young adult's life is 26, 27, 28, when your friends, when half of them are single and partying and blacking out, and then the other half are married with children.
Yeah.
And like, you don't know where to go.
And it's the first time in your life that that's happened. Like, if you like went to school, you know, elementary, high school, college, and then you graduated college, moved, worked, whatever, like you're in your first job, second job, but like that's the first time your timeline with your friends starts to go in different directions, and it's so weird. It's like polarizing.
I felt so lost at that age, and I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people writing in are in that bracket.
Yep.
Because it's a very tough time. You don't want to be partying, and but you might not want to be married either.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I think because we are on social media, I think it gives us a different opportunity than like an everyday person to just DM someone and make friends.
Yes, but I think there are like takeaways that I've learned in doing that I think can apply to everybody. Like,
me too.
What I always suggest to people is like, think about what your interests are. Like, we met because like we both talked about entertainment and pop culture and everything. Then we got to get to know each other, and we had other like similar values and interests. But it's like, what are the things that you genuinely like? Find a Facebook group that's local. Go on Eventbrite and see if there's different events. Like, we both know Camber app in LA. Like, are there different websites in wherever you live that are local that like find your interest and find people that share in that interest? I feel like that is such a low-hanging fruit way that you can just like try it out. Because even if you don't meet anybody, hopefully whatever event or activity you go and do, like, you still have fun.
I completely agree. Also, that reminds me of like when I first moved here, I intentionally did things to put myself out of my comfort zone. Like, I remember I signed up for like a tennis lesson by myself, and it was an all-females tennis lesson.
With the really competitive.
Yeah, the really competitive girl. I liked everyone but the one bitch that was trying to beat me. But everyone else after was like, oh, do you want to do another class? And I'm like, yeah. And we all exchanged numbers and like made a group chat and just little things like that. Like, even my friend Lisa, she loves the gym Rumble, and she has a whole community of people that she's met at the gym because they all go to the same classes. So I think it could be something as small as like a gym class that you like, or a run club.
I was going to say Venice Run Club. Like, I was going there before I broke my toe, and like I made so many friends, and now like I'll go to Pilates with like a girl. No, I know, but it's like, but even like that one of the girls is like, her and I were in Run Club, and then when we went to Ojai for tennis, like she was there. Yeah, like, and it's like somebody you see working out. So that's another. That is a really good one. Workout in like clubs like that, or intramural sports.
Yeah,
those are really good.
I think those are big. And then also there's other things like book clubs or I think I get that not all cities have that, but there are, even if you don't have a huge presence on social media, I think you could use social media as a tool, like joining Facebook groups that some of your favorite podcasts run.
Yes.
Because you can find like-minded people.
And people there are always inclined to do meetups and stuff.
Ooh, I had a good one pop into my head. Going to podcasters' live shows.
Yes.
Because like I know when I did 2 live shows in New York, a lot of people went solo, and I created a Facebook group for them to meet. And a lot of them planned to get drinks before and meet and go. And then I remember at my second show, a few girls were like, we're best friends now, and we met at your first live show.
Stop
and
it.
it's because they just like put themselves out there, and they came alone. And a lot of people would come alone. Yeah. And I respect the hell out of it.
I know. That is something, I've gone places alone before, but also like I get scared.
Me too.
Especially now that I am more settled in LA, and I'm like, I don't want to do things.
But you know what? Even the other day I had a Macy's event, and I went alone, and this girl walked through the door, and like, you know how influencers are, like you could recognize someone and people just act like they don't know you. The second she walked in, I go, oh my God, you're the girl from TikTok Shop. Like, I knew her. I keep getting served her content.
You are good. Like, again, I would be the same way. Some people aren't like that, but it's like, I would just call it out right away.
I just said it, and then we both had the same hairstyle, and she goes, you watched the viral video? I was like, yeah, you too? She's like, yeah. We were twins. Like, we had the same hair, the same earrings.
Did you take a photo together?
I'm like, we are 2 bitches that consume social. Like,
2 bitches telling each other exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
exactly. I hate myself. So predictable.
But that was so funny. You can't plan that. But we literally sat next to each other at dinner, and now we exchange numbers, and we're getting coffee next week.
Good.
So my point is, like, just put yourself out there, say something, like throw yourself out of your comfort zone, compliment someone's hairstyle.
Yes.
You never know.
It really does come down to pushing yourself a little bit out of that zone. Even, I find sometimes, like, even when I was younger especially, I would almost be scared to even, like, look up the event on Eventbrite or something like that. Because, like, if I looked it up, then I had to go.
Yeah.
You know? And you can stay comfortable and, like, not go for it. So I feel like that, again, is, like, the attitude that you have to keep. Is just, like, just step up to the plate. Like, try something, do one thing new, and, like, feel the exhilaration.
I always say treat it like college orientation. Because I remember that first week, no one knows anyone. It's a clean slate, and you have no choice but to make friends. Yeah. It's just a thing. And I'm like, if you just treat it like it's like, especially if you're in a new city, like you're new. When I moved into my old building, I would be in the elevator, and I'd be like, hey, how are you? I was like saying hi to people.
Oh my God.
Now I look down. But, like, I was just in that vibe.
Yeah, you wanted to meet people, put yourself out there.
And I did. So that's our advice with that. Anything else to add?
No, I mean, I think that the last thing I would say, just really reiterate the going places alone. I have like one girlfriend, she's like really outgoing, but like she'll just go like work at a coffee shop alone, sit at a bar for a happy hour and just like chat with people. Again, it doesn't have to be drinking. It can go be working, like go work at a different coffee shop once a week. If you see similar people or whatever, like you'll
naturally start talking.
Yeah. But go by yourself if that's, you know, because then it forces you to push yourself into that zone.
Get a dog. Because,
I mean,
like the other day I took Chai to, it was my first day that I moved to this area, so new area for me, and I must have had new person vibes, like come talk to me vibes, but I was holding Chai, and I was at a coffee shop, men, women, mothers, brothers. I was getting stopped.
To you.
by everyone and their mother. I met this girl. She's like, I have a Pomeranian. I loved her vibe. I'm like, where do you get your earrings? I could have been friends with her. Like, I'm not really looking for friends anymore, but had that been 2 years ago, or a year ago, I would have been like, give me your number. Let's hang out.
Exactly.
You know, like I liked her. I'm like, oh, this is fun.
I know. The dog one is good.
It really helps. People just walk up to you.
I know, and they just talk. Do
you think it's weird when people kiss your dog?
Yes.
I don't like it.
I also, like, this is way too excessive, but, like, sometimes if there are people and I don't know them and then they just, like, reach down and start touching, I'm like, I don't know where your hands have been. You're sitting, like, eating a scone at the coffee shop and then suddenly you're rubbing it in my dog's face. Like, wash your hands.
If you want my dog to lick your face, I'm sorry, that's invasive.
Yeah. But people want it.
I don't like that. It really freaks me out.
Choco has like a tongue thing, a nervous tick. So like he'll always lick people, and I'm like, please stop.
No, I see them grabbing Chai because she's so little and letting them kiss her, and I'm like, it's my dog. Would you do that to my boyfriend? Like, leave her alone.
They might.
It's weird. It's so weird.
I know. People see a cute dog, and they just one-track mind.
Poor Chai. Yeah, I need to get her like a collar with spikes. No, I'm kidding.
Do not touch.
Yeah. Okay, I want to get into like our little industry news segment. Are you following the Tarte Trip unboxings?
Okay, so I just read like a little article on it in a newsletter that I get. And they were basically talking about the fact that the Tarte girls, they're doing a Tarte trip to Bora Bora, and the gifting that they sent them was so outrageously expensive. It was like a Canon camera
that I bought myself this week, and it's out of stock. I had to get it on eBay, and everyone has one.
Really?
Yeah.
And then there was, what was the other thing there was?
Nike sneakers.
The Nike, yeah.
And then they like catered each box to every person, which I think nice touch as a former publicist. Like, I think it's like one girl just had a baby and they sent her like stuff for her baby. And that I thought was like, they sent her like a breastfeeding pillow.
Oh,
and I was like, okay, that's really thoughtful.
But it's just like so expensive. Who did I see in the thing? It was that Hannah girl.
Okay, this is what I think's interesting about it all.
Tell me.
This is where I get myself into trouble.
Tell me.
Because I'm going to try to like I put out a thread like that was controversial and then I deleted it because I'm like, bitch, like you don't need to say this stuff out loud. Like you could just talk shit with your friends.
Well, talk shit with me on a podcast.
But I think what's different for me than most brands, if you go on a trip with like Birkenstock,
yep,
you're going to be like, at Birkenstock, thank you so much. You're not going to be like, at Birkenstock, at founder of Birkenstock.
Oh, yes.
Like, why is Maureen Kelly like...
Yeah.
Why is everyone kissing her ass? I'm sorry.
Because they want to go on the trips. But I hear what you're saying. You're basically saying, like, make it about the brand, but she's trying to, like, build her own personal brand off the back of her brand.
And I don't even know if it's her doing it. It's everyone kissing her ass. And that's what's turning me away. But I feel like they did that
with Revolve with, like, is it Risa? Remember Revolve Around the World? Yes. They do all that, and it was Risa, the girl. Like, everyone always would tag her and be like, queen, and da-da-da. It's like, I think it's like... I think there's also an element of I am so close, like I know this person personally.
Like, you know? I don't even need to use a last name.
It's like, and like I can tag them, like I know them, like we're so close and so tight. And so I'm going to tag the person, not just the brand.
I just want to already call myself out for being a hypocrite because like I would kiss her ass too.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone was doing it, of course you would.
To Bora Bora, I'd be like, Maury.
But I see, so on the other side of the coin, and I'm not like I'm not an entrepreneur, so I don't know, but like I would be like, I don't want to go on these trips. Like I want to be at home with my family. Like,
yeah.
Relaxing, raking in the dough. You know?
I get what you're saying. Like if you're so big at some point, just let the team handle the marketing and like.
Yeah. And not even like let the team, but it's like she's putting herself in a position as the face of the brand that like she will be expected to be on all of those trips and things. So like, won't there, like, I don't know. You know this about me. Like, it's like, I always hear, like, Kim Kardashian has talked about it with Skims. Like, it's like, your brand needs to exist without your face being associated with it. And I feel like what she's doing is like the opposite. It's almost the
opposite. That's what I'm saying.
And I don't know if it's like, because like people are leaned into it. And so like she's just going with it, or if it's like a vanity thing, like she wants to do it, you know?
This is why I'm so bad at having an argument or like standing on something, because I see both sides of everything. Yeah. Because I said one thing and now I'm like, my other flip side opinion is I heard girls on the last trip on their TikTok saying how fun she was, how much she doesn't stop, how she doesn't get tired. She might be one of those really energetic people that like lives for that.
She's like an extrovert to her core.
Yes. And that's the way people were describing her. So it's like, if that's the case, then I get it.
Yes.
Whereas we're like, we need to recharge alone. So we're like, we can't comprehend.
I can't do it.
I can't comprehend going on a trip like that. And like, I've been on brand trips and I love them and I'm happy, but you're still working. Like, at least I am.
Yes.
These trips, it seems a little more unfiltered. Like, people get blackout and it's not judged. When I am invited with a brand, I try to hold myself to a certain caliber. I try to keep my drinking in order. I try to talk to the brand reps and be presentable.
And you're also hyper aware because like, they're like, at least the brand trips I've been on, it's like they're filming you all the time.
Yes.
Like day to night.
So like for me, these trips are very draining because I'm working.
Yep.
Whereas I think maybe the difference of the Tarte trips is, yes, they're working, but they're literally partying. So maybe it's a more relaxed environment.
Yeah. And maybe that's why again, maybe it comes down to like that feeling of being personal. Like if you black out with somebody, like you're locked for life. You know what I mean? Like, and if you feel free enough to be able to do that, then you're probably going to feel like, I love this woman. Like she's so badass.
Like she literally held my
she
hair
works
back.
hard, plays hard. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting.
The whole time.
Why did you delete the thread? Was it a thread?
Because I said something kind of nasty.
Did somebody comment, or you were just like, I'm
just like, this is gonna get screenshotted, even though I've not. I just said something like, "Why is everyone kissing Maureen's ass?" But this is why, because as a consumer, I feel annoyed as like
you feel annoyed consuming the content.
I feel annoyed. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel annoyed or jealous. No. Okay. Am I jealous? No. Am I envious that they're going to Bora Bora?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. But I don't. What I'm trying to say is, take my profession out of it. If I was just a person at home on my couch, I think I'd feel the same way. Of like, this is a little much.
Well, because you probably can tell that it's a little bit fake.
I think that's the nail on the head with the Maureen-ass, because I think it's the, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
I think that's what's rubbing me the wrong way. I think you know it's fake
because you know people want to kiss her ass because they want to go on the next trip and the next trip.
That's what's rubbing me the wrong way. The ass kissing feels phony. It doesn't feel genuine. Like, if I think a genuine thing would be emailing her on the side and sending her flowers and being like,
thank you so much.
It means so much to me that you're taking me, and like, I think that's what it is, the public displays of.
Yes.
And so it's not about the trip, and it's just about the phoniness.
I think it's like they're doing it for the clout, you know? Like, I think that's a part of it. To be like, look, I know her. Like, I'm tagging her. She's in my video. We're so tight. Like, I think there is a clout factor to it,
But I also can't say I maybe wouldn't do the same thing.
Totally. But it's playing the game.
And not inauthentically.
But both things can be true.
I think I would probably feel that way if I were maybe on the other side of it.
Or you would be like, it pains me to have to do this, but I'm going to do it because it's my job and I want to continue doing my job well.
Yeah. And also, just as someone who like did work in PR and stuff, I just find it interesting to dissect this stuff, because I was the one like planning trips and doing these things, and like we would pay influencers for like one of the big brands like $10,000 to be somewhere, $40,000 to go on something, and they wouldn't give you one extra bone. Like, they wouldn't throw you one extra free story.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm only contracted for 4. Where it's like, now it's like everyone's just doing it for free.
I know.
And it's building this momentum. So to me, it's fascinating.
It's such an evolution. It's kind of wild. And it's like, I work with a lot of brand partners and things like that. Some of the consistent feedback I hear now from brands is like, if the person isn't speaking about the content organically and like very obviously
then we don't want to partner
then
with
we
them.
don't want to partner with them.
Which I get from a brand's perspective. Like, if I see someone talking about tea, like I was watching Love Island USA and this girl was like, I drink tea every morning. So I DM'd her and was like, I'd love to send you some. I'm not going to go to like Emma Chamberlain, who only drinks coffee, and be like, oh, let me gift you my tea. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
It's like, it makes sense.
It has to make sense. But to your point is, in the past, it was like you would pay people for that type of exposure or coverage. And now so many people are influencers or want to be influencers influencers that they'll just do it for free.
Well, I've talked about this in the past, but this was kind of like the revolve around the world era. We would all partner with them for free because we wanted to get invited.
It's and they're like you got to do all 12 posts.
Yes. And it just creates a monster, which is really smart on the brand side that they are creating free buzz by huge influencers.
Yes. And people want to be a part of it. It's really fascinating. This is the thing that I always go back to, and I haven't done this research, but like, I'm such a data dork. What has the ROI been on these trips? Has it actually been a positive ROI?
I think it had to have moved the needle in order for them to do it even bigger this year.
Yeah.
And I also think it probably isn't like, I'm sure week of impressions are mad. I don't know if like numbers in terms of sales are.
Yeah.
But I bet consistently throughout the year, I've heard more about Tarte since their last trip than I'd heard about it 5 years prior.
Yes. So, okay, you're right. Because it's like, what is the goal or like the key result that they're looking for? Is it to like build social following, or is it to actually turn over sales? So it could just be, So I'd be curious like what those results are.
Because I bet they look at the impressions and they're like, oh my God, this one video alone got us
this much engagement
7
rate,
million
exposure.
Views, and then combining all of them together, to them, it's like that equals dollars in a sense.
But then, okay, I have so many questions. What was the thing that happened last year?
The rooms.
Oh, like certain influencers had bigger rooms. And then did she come on and make a video getting ready apologizing?
Oh, no, that was a whole nother thing. That was with Bria, this influencer who I adore.
Yes.
She's so nice. Bria was invited to like part of the event, but not the full event.
Yes.
And Bria's a Black creator. So then people were like, is that what? Like, it was just this whole thing.
Yes.
And then Maureen, I think basically was just like apologizing, saying like,
she put her mouth on her foot.
Not everyone was invited to everything, like blah, blah, blah. It was nothing intentional, and they switched all the accommodations, and it was it was interesting. I don't really know what the outcome of that was, but
that's so. What I would say is like I remember that, like I associate Tarte with that more than the trip. Like didn't Alex Earl go with her mom? Like now that we're talking about it, there was
I think there was the Dubai trip, there was the Turks and Caicos one, and then there was F1 in Miami.
Yeah.
And they were, the F1 one and the Turks and Caicos one was like 2 weeks apart. And everyone that didn't get invited to the Turks and Caicos one went online and was like, I wish I could go, got invited to F1. And that was the thing. It's like this thing where if you publicly outcry, I wish I was invited, they invite you.
So interesting.
They've never invited me because here I am.
Like, Maureen, I love you.
I'd love to go to work. No, I gotta say, I won't say anything else. We will talk about F1 now.
Yeah, let's talk about F1. Speaking of F1.
You probably know more about this than me. Oh, and another beauty industry.
And also, like, just for fun, like Netflix just released season 6 of Drive to Survive if people want to watch.
Should I start from season 1?
Yes. Are you sick?
I know. My friend Jill, like my best friend, watches Drive to Survive, and then she became so obsessed with F1 that now she like will wake up at 5 a.m. to watch the races.
Of course.
Like she's obsessed.
Yes. All of this. It's so good. Like, I'm just pulling up the article.
Yeah, so it turns out Charlotte Tilbury, I believe, is the first.
It's the first
female
beauty brand.
And female women-sponsored F1.
Yes.
Whatever.
And so here's what's happening. Essentially, F1, like the F1 that you see on Drive to Survive is just one component of F1.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's F1 Academy, which is female-only racing. There's also like FAE, I believe it is.
There's female F1 drivers?
That's what they're sponsoring. Yeah. So F1 Academy is Formula One's female-only racing championship. And it's officially made the company, Charlotte Tilbury, the first beauty line and first female-founded brand to sponsor the sub-league. Because there's also electric car F1 racing. So, like, there's a whole...
There's multiple sectors.
Yes. So this is a sub-league, and it's women drivers.
I think it's sick.
And so Charlotte Tilbury is sponsoring the women drivers, which is incredible. It's like, I think it's so brilliant.
I think it's so smart because it's also like... Our mascara lasts at 100 miles per hour.
I know. Like, just think of, like, the advertising that you can do with that. Or, like somebody taking off their helmet and their face. Like, their beat is perfectly intact.
It's amazing.
Like, it's so smart.
It's so smart.
I love, obviously, seeing women, like... With the growth of, like, F1, because of Drive to Survive becoming more mainstream, like, there are more female-oriented viewers. And we've also seen that with the Taylor effect with, like, all sports. But, like... it's such a smart play.
It's genius.
Because it's like these women, you know, like athletes can be like beautiful, they can be strong, they can be sexy. Like it's just so empowering.
And I just think it's monumental to be the first to do it for Charlotte Tilbury, to be able to say, we are the first. Like, I think it would be really cool if they had a women's wear designer do like the suiting. Like if you had like someone like, what's her name? DVF, who for years has talked about like, the women's like wrap dress fitting a women's body in their curves.
Oh my God, it would be
all of a sudden
amazing.
someone like that created their outfits. I don't know. I'm sure they have to be a certain material, but that would be a cool thing too. I don't think of sports and think fashion, but
DVF.
It's a cool thing to like kind of grandfather in.
Yeah,
that you're like this like long standing.
Yeah, it's
partner.
really, really interesting. I think it's so genius. There was some like bad press that came up because Bella Hadid ended her partnership with Charlotte Tilbury. She was like one of the faces. And then everyone was like, oh, it's because she supports Palestine. But then it's like, that's not, I'll just be very clear, that's not true.
Well, I was going to say, what's Palestine have to do with F1?
No, this is Bella Hadid. This is Charlotte Tilbury.
Got it.
Charlotte Tilbury was in hot water because everyone said that they ended the partnership with Bella because she's spoken out about Palestine. But she actually... Then it came out that she's launching her own makeup brand.
Yeah, so she's like, why am I going to be tied to a makeup brand?
So she can't be the face of Charlotte Tilbury and launch her own makeup brand.
Interesting.
Oh, so it was like hot water turned good, you know?
Yeah,
and
her
like
PR team was like, spin it.
But then, you know, Bella and Charlotte, everybody's all hunky-dory and everything's fine. But I was like,
there's too many celebrity makeup skincare lines.
Yeah.
Like, do something different. Like, Kristen Cavallari does Uncommon James. But I'm thinking of, like, does anyone own the jewelry space? Does anyone own... I don't know. Like, I feel like Gigi Hadid did the cashmere sweater thing. Never heard of it again. I don't even know if it's around anymore.
But, like, skincare, like, Brad Pitt has a skincare line. What?
Who the F is buying Brad Pitt
I don't know.
Because, like, you're not going to go online. It's not in store.
No.
I think if I was a celebrity... Oh, my God. PR play. What I would do is launch a skincare and not have anyone know I'm behind it.
Yeah.
Like almost like what Jessica Alba did with like Honest.
Yes.
Is that still around? I never hear about Honest anymore. But the way she kind of built this brand up, like she was the face of it, but not really. Like it didn't have to do with her. It wasn't her aesthetic. It was like baby aesthetic. It was completely separate from her.
Because she didn't tie her name as the face of the brand.
Yes.
And she built it to $1 billion company.
Yes. Like I would just create a company and invest so much money in marketing and have it get huge. And then like years down the road be like, oh, by the way, that's my brand.
Yes. 100%.
Like that would be sick.
The other, like, I think Aveline Wine and Cameron Diaz, I think that's another great example. One. Like, yes, she promotes it and things like that, but like she's not like always talking about it.
And
like,
it has such, because she's not in the press often, it has such a standalone brand reputation.
Yes. Yeah.
Like truly.
I know.
That's a great example.
I could do a whole episode on celebrity products.
No, me too. We actually should. That would be a fun topic. Let's spill the tea, shall we?
Yes. I'm so
There's a lot of topics. One Day on Netflix.
Did you watch it?
Guys, we're going to spoil quickly. Can we? Because you finished, right?
Yeah.
So spoiler warning in the event we talk about the last episode because I have opinions.
Okay. Well, I'm not.
Did you like it?
Okay, here's the thing. Everyone was like, don't watch it. You're going to bawl your eyes out. Because I loved the show Normal People.
Me too. And it's like, similar vibes.
I loved the book. It's similar vibes. Yeah. Like, I love, that's probably one of my favorite shows in the last 5 years. If not the top 5. Show. Yeah. And
if not top
so
2.
I started watching one day and I'm like, I'm like, fuck this. Like, this isn't as good as normal. And then I think it was like the last 4 episodes or something. I was like, oh my goodness.
But I think it's really weird when everyone's like, you have to get to the second to last episode until it gets good.
I know. I'm
fatigued.
I know. But I binged it. Because it was also short. So that was good.
I think my opinion's super controversial.
Tell me.
I also watched it with Sean, and I don't know if anyone else feels this way in life. If you're watching something with someone else, do you not fully let yourself feel the emotions? Because you're like hyper aware of the fact you're with someone. Like part of me wonders if like PMS Alyssa in bed would have had the same reaction as like Alyssa like staying strong for Sean. Even though
you would have been a puddle. Like even if you just watch something on your own and you let yourself be completely vulnerable because nobody's around. Like
okay, well this is my spoiler warning one more time. Okay. Skip forward 1 minute. I thought the scene of her getting hit by the car, ruined the whole sadness for me.
Why?
Because it was so fucking predictable that it was a car. I feel like we see that scene in every show. One Tree Hill, it's happened. That's just the one that comes to mind. Every single show, it is a girl crossing the street, a guy crossing the street, they get hit by a car.
And because she was on, like, I love
suspense.
you. The second that you hear that voicemail, and I was like, oh, shit.
Like, Sean and I were talking, we're like, someone's going to die. Like, we knew. But I
didn't
thought
know
it was going to be a little bit more, like, a rare thing. Like, we thought because she was talking about wanting kids, like, was it going to be a complication? Was it, like, I felt like for a show that was so unpredictable and so different, it was so, like, it kind of pissed me off. And then the scene of her, like, laying dead on the ground.
I know.
Was so bad.
Like, I know.
I thought it was kind of bad acting. So I feel like it took the emotion out of it for me.
So here was my take. And I knew something was going to happen because she was on the bike and he was listening to the voicemail. And it was like, they were setting it up. And I was like, oh, fuck, something's happening. But, like, this is so stupid to say. I was like, she wouldn't have died. Like, the speed with which she got hit and she was in her helmet and when she was on the floor, I was like, she's not dead.
Yeah, like, she's fine.
Like, she's injured, but, like, that didn't kill her.
No, I'm telling you.
I hate that I feel that way.
No, the scene it was a bad scene in a good show. And it was the most pivotal scene. And it really, like, took a lot of the emotion out of it for me because I was like, oh, this is what happened?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, come on, this is a different type of show.
There was not a single drop of blood coming out of her helmet. And I don't need it to be, like, dark or vulgar, but I was like, at first I was like, oh, she, like, got hit by a car. Like, so casually to myself. And I was like, wait,
like, oh, she's fine, she'll roll. Like,
yeah. I expected her to just, like, twitch a little bit and get up.
Okay, so you kind of felt the same way.
I did with that scene, but then
it was that scene. But I think his emotion then is what made me sad. And, like, Sean got really sad about his conversation with his dad.
Okay, I was going to say that one took me the whole way out. I could cry right now.
Yeah. And, like, I felt emotional. But I was, like, I was so, like, disturbed about, like, her face laying on the, like, cement that I was, like... It
took away from, like, the emotion because you're just like, what the hell?
Sean's, like, sobbing and I'm like,
oh my god,
I'm like, she got hit by a car. Like, I was so annoyed.
I was confused and then I realized what happened.
But again, if I was like, alone, maybe I would be sobbing.
Like, when I stopped watching, when I watched, like, the final episode, I had to go walk Chaco and, like, I was bawling my eyes. Like, I was walking the dog crying. Still, I was like, people must think I'm crazy. I'm, like, wiping my eyes. I'm like, oh my god. Not normal people for me at all, but that's a high standard.
No, it was not normal people. Yeah. Nothing will ever be Connell's chain.
Oh my god.
He does it for me, that guy.
Paul Mescal.
He does it. Also, this might be kind of controversial, but I just need to...
I love that you preface every sentence.
Do you think there's a psychology behind the trope of brown-haired, plain girl, hot, hunky guy? Think about Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey.
Avatar.
Normal people.
Fourth Wing. Like, weak, tiny little girl.
I don't like, as a bigger woman... As, like, a woman with curves and, like, big lips, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I think they're trying to, like, make it relatable to everyone, but I find it not relatable.
Yeah, like, it's, like, meant to be, like, a plain Jane, but... Okay, so One Day was a movie.
Yeah.
And it starred Anne Hathaway as, like, I'm like, Anne fucking Hathaway?
Yeah.
Daisy Edgar Jones is the plain ugly girl? Are you fucking kidding me?
But I just find it so interesting that they always have to, like, make their hair weird and
the bangs. Like, they all have bangs. Could you make an it girl
get the guy? Like, I want to see someone with cool hair and cool clothes. Like, why do they have to make it so?
Because it's that, like, lusting that's so, like, it would never. Their love is so strong. It could never be possible.
Okay, but how about that fucking
Anne
guy?
Is so ugly.
How about the guy can never get the girl? Like, why is it always women being the weak and, like...
Yeah.
It annoys me. I'm like, I want to see a power ass, like, woman and, like, a weak ass guy.
I know.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You want, like, a lover boy love story. Well, this is a very traditional, like, trope, like, story arc.
It just kind of annoys me. Every book I read, it's like, oh, she's so frail.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know. I know.
Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing, they're literally like...
She's literally frail. Like, it's so annoying.
Because it's so true. And I know, like, the author, I've done so much research, has, like, a disability or a disorder. Like, there's something, which is why she wrote it into the character. But I hear you loud and clear that it's just, like,
It's the same trope.
It's the same trope. It's like the same
give us a powerful
trope. It's like
woman.
Hunger Games, like, in a sense, you know what I mean?
Twilight,
it's all
Hunger
the same.
Everything I've ever consumed.
Yeah.
And it's bothered me my whole life.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
I think Harry Potter is the only one that's not like that. But Harry Potter had nothing to do with
It's
sex.
not about that.
Yeah.
Oh, it drives
wasn't romance.
me insane.
No, it's a good point.
Are you caught up on Love is Blind?
I didn't watch the episodes that came out today.
Well,
but we can talk about them.
I watched them because I saw everything early. But what we can talk about is the fact that, like, shit's getting messy in the press with every single person.
I mean, okay, I said this. I made a post about this on my Instagram, and I might have wrote it in my newsletter, and I was like, this is the messiest season I've ever witnessed of Love is Blind. Like,
in the media or watching?
just the couples that made it. I'm like, I have never felt so strongly that these couples should not be together. There's not one single one. Maybe Johnny and Amy that I'm, like, rooting for. All the other ones, I'm like, I can't. Like, Clay, you're talking about cheating? Absolutely not. Jimmy, Chelsea, I don't even feel bad about Jimmy. Chelsea, like, girl, get it together. Like, your insecurity is so deep.
Her biggest enemy.
Yes, exactly.
My friend texted me, like, her thoughts watching it all, and her first sentence was like, I feel so bad for Chelsea. And I go, are we watching the same show? I don't wait until you see the next few episodes. Like, Sean and I were screaming at the TV because it's just one of those things where I do feel bad because, okay, actually I have a controversial opinion that, are they only showing us her absolute worst moments, which I admit are pretty bad and insecure, but are they only showing us the worst of her? Because there's got to be some really good redeeming qualities we're not seeing, because the way he talks about her when he's like, she's so this and she's so that and she's so great. I'm like, are we not seeing the good shit? I feel like they keep showing us alcohol-fueled conversations.
So I have two thoughts there. Number one is, like, I know that in the pods, like, she was so, like, when it had nothing to do with looks, she was such a, like, vivacious, like, amazing personality and so confident and whatever. It's when it, like, came down to looks.
Yeah.
And I really feel like at the end of the day, she can feel that he might not be as physically attracted to her, and that's probably an underlying insecurity of hers, like, to begin with. And so it's festering and she's projecting. Like, I think that's one part of it. But to your point, there was, who was Brittany and the guy? Kenneth?
Kenneth.
So their fight in the last series of episodes where he's, like, on his phone and she's, like, crying.
Yeah.
They, Jessica was on a podcast on the Vile Files and basically said, like, they had already broken up and they had an hours-long conversation, and then the cameras came and they had to film it again, which is why he was like, I'm so done with this, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's, so it's like,
I'm telling you,
I think editing and, like, how things work, like, there's stuff we're not seeing.
Because I wonder if Chelsea's, like, way more, like, lovely than they're giving credit.
I think Chelsea was so lovely when she wasn't worried about what somebody thought about her physically. Yeah. But I think her insecurities, she's letting them get the best of
100%, but I think they're showing us drunk conversations.
Yeah. Like, they're taking that
drunk in all of them.
They're taking that, like, they're typecasting her and they're rolling with it.
Like, I think every time she gets a drink in her, she's being kind of nutso, and that's what they're showing us, because I could just tell. I'm like, I don't think she's sober. And then in the conversation the next day, like, they admitted it was drinking. And I'm like, I fucking knew it. Like, I could tell this wasn't rational behavior. Yeah. Again, doesn't excuse it. It's crazy behavior. But I'm just interested about, I feel like I've heard people on previous seasons say they only showed, like, my bad moments and none of my good ones.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got a contract from Netflix to do a reality show when I first moved here.
Pardon?
Like, they wanted to do this reality show and I was going to be on it. But, like, my friend's mom is an agent and she was like, I cannot let you sign this in, like, good faith.
Yeah.
Because you are signing, it was, like, worse than, like, a Bachelor contract, she said. Like, you're signing it all away, honey.
Yeah. I think I know too much to ever care to do reality TV.
Yeah.
I know too much. It's too damaging.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's interesting because now stuff is coming out with, who's the beefhead?
Jeremy? Or Matthew?
Travis. Trevor.
Oh, that he, like, had a girlfriend?
He had a girlfriend. Texts came out. Then people are saying that Jeremy also was engaged right before the show. And it's like...
And his, like, ex-fiance's mom, like, posts, like, that's my daughter and my grandson.
But, like, Trevor's shocking the nation because, like, we thought he was a gentle giant.
Yeah.
Like, I was rooting for him. I met him in person. I'm like, he's lovely. And we're sad.
So, wait, are there full receipts?
Full text conversations, whether they're validated or not, I don't know, like, whether anyone's confirmed it's actually him. But it was, like, him being like, hey, babe, I landed. Like, I wound up really getting along with someone in the pods. Like, it was between, like, two of us. But, like, I love you so much. I miss you.
Oh, whoa.
Mm-hmm. And the girl knew he was going on the show and let him.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are going to go on there to be famous. It's the Bachelor formula, right? Like, to go be influencers. Did you see this whole thing on TikTok with Sarah Ann filming from Jeremy's house?
But I don't know why people are so surprised about that.
Because she's denying it.
Oh, she is?
Yeah. So there's
part of me is like, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because she's been denying it. And she's like, people think they know and blah, blah, blah. And there's this video and the girl's like, girl, like, people on TikTok solve murders. Like, you think they can't identify, like, a dresser in a photo from Target?
She's also probably just saying that because contractually she's not allowed to be like, we're together.
For sure. It's so wild. Like, this is the messiest crew.
I just think the longer the show goes on, the messier it will get because of social media and the fame of the show. And but I still love it.
Oh, I'm having a great time.
I adore it. It's fantastic. And honestly, it does work.
I loved Laura catching Jeremy in his lie. Like, incredible TV. Who are the other couples? Oh, Johnny and Amy. They need to listen to our fertility episode.
I asked him full stop in person. I was like, did you not believe in, like, condoms or
and what IUD? Was it?
Or, like, what, like, why are there not other conversations being had? Why did we go from 0 to vasectomy? Like, I don't get it. And he kind of beat around the bush and he was just like, yeah, like, I don't know what they aired because they hadn't seen back the episodes yet. He was like, but there was definitely more said. And I think since he's come out and admitted that he's like, was very uneducated on.
Yeah. So he also, I talked about this in a newsletter I wrote with Love is Blind because, like, there was a lot of, like, religious trope. And I know they're in the South and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, and there was, like, a scene of him, like, walking around the men's locker area or whatever in, like, with, like, a Bible.
Oh.
And I remember catching that.
So you think it's, like,
so I was like, is it a religious thing?
Like, he grew up, like, Mormon or something and, like, doesn't. No, but you know what? He's from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
But I was, like, painting this picture, but then I'm like, oh.
No, I thought it was maybe a religious thing.
He just, like, honestly, I don't, like, we're not taught about a lot of this. It's on you to back to the healthcare.
I'm like, America.
No, yeah. But like, it's kind of on you to, like, do your research. Like, I don't know how he just got to vasectomy as the option.
Where are his parents?
But I think there was more to the story. I don't know if he told me this or she said this on an interview. I heard it somewhere that she has, like, some kind of, like, health thing with
so maybe certain fertility.
Like, apparently there was, like, a lot
contraceptives
more than we knew. But again, I think they're probably kind of embarrassed, let's be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, they are the worst of that show's problems this season.
Oh, yeah. I think that they actually seem really quite happy together.
I know you've spoiled. I know you know it. Like, you know how it ends. You've seen everything?
No, I don't. They gave the media every single episode except the final one.
Oh.
So we actually don't. I think that was smart because they don't want it getting out.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give it to one person.
I wonder if any of them... I could see Clay and AD going to the altar.
I think they're together.
But I think it's
this is literally just me based off of actually do I think they're together?
Me too. You've seen more than me and I'm like I think they go to the altar, but I think they
trying to read their body language in person even though no one gave me anything.
Really? Did they let the girls and guys interact with you?
No, they're separate. Literally no one gave me anything because they're not allowed to. But this is just me being like, oh, by their aura. Like, I have no idea.
I'm feeling their energy.
I think
Clay and AD are together.
I thought it was interesting, though, because we were allowed to interview everyone except Chelsea and Jimmy, or Johnny. What's his name? Jimmy. And I'm wondering, like, if they must have such an explosive thing if, like, they're not talking to press.
Yeah. It can't be good.
So maybe something juicy happens.
And didn't something juicy happen in these episodes? Because, like, they met his friends and their girlfriends.
Yes.
And everyone's like, the friends that they chose to meet are friends that he's had for, like less than 5 years.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone's like, oh, he fucked one of them for sure. And then wasn't there, like, a thing where she's like...
there was a clip of her being like, you fucked her.
God, Chelsea, walk away, girl.
Walk away, sis. Walk away. Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, our next topic.
I mean, how much time do we have?
I know. I was like, this is a long one. But you're more well-versed in this than me.
Okay, I will try to make it
Give me Cliff Notes.
very short. So, we have not seen Kate Middleton since Christmas Day. Where's my tinfoil Craig Conover cap, please?
We need a missing song.
We have not seen Princess Kate. Oh, God. Since Christmas. And allegedly, she went in for some sort of abdominal surgery in January. And they were like, she's going to be in hospital 14 days. And it's a really long recovery. So she's not going to do any of her public work as a public servant until Easter will be the first time we see her, which is the end of April. And so, beginning of April.
Oh, so they already preemptively told us we won't see her until April.
But here was the thing. There's a few things. Number one, there were paparazzi sitting outside of that hospital waiting to shoot her. They saw William go in and visit her. Charles was photographed going to his prostate surgery. Not one person got a single photo. And I know my friend's boyfriend, they live in London, had LASIK in the same hospital. She sent me photos and she's like, these people were standing out here night and day and they didn't get one single photo of Kate ever. So that's one piece. Let's
so like the media, like basically the media complying with
either
the wishes
or she was never there.
Or they took her out. Couldn't they take her through an underground little tunnel or something?
Possibly, but like you would think that it's interesting that they've never not gotten a photo of royals ever. Like, you got Prince Harry in a Nazi costume.
All I'm thinking is are they complying with basically from a publicist? It's like the royal family is like, listen, don't take a picture of Kate because we'll give you Charles going to get his prostate exam.
Yes, but like even in those instances, they're always the media, the British media, like
they're
Harry
ruthless.
and Meghan are suing so many. Like, they're ruthless. They want the money. None of them have a photograph of this woman is alarming. So then the second piece that was crazy was like, Kate has been taken back to Kensington Palace. She wants to remain in private, blah, blah, blah. We're like respecting her. Like, that in the history of the royals has never happened. Like, Charles came out with a full thing saying he had cancer. Like, you are public servants. The British public pay their taxes, pay for your life. You represent
what a weird ass concept.
Like, so you don't ever get the choice to be a private citizen. So the fact that she's getting this choice, everyone's like, this is odd.
What do people think it is? Is anyone speculating or like people don't want to say?
Everybody is speculating. That's
no, but I'm saying like, do people have theories or?
So they think there's a few things. They think that she is either pregnant, but she had this thing.
Sickness where she had morning sickness every single day.
Emesis. So they think she's pregnant. So she's like so ill. And she's older, like she's like a geriatric pregnancy. So that's one thing that people think. People think that William has been like having this affair with this Rose Cholmondeley woman who's like in their circle,
and she's trying to very well know.
Either trying to leave him, or people think she had a mental breakdown and she's in a rehab facility.
Oh Lord, I hope she's okay.
And then the third thing is like people think that whatever her surgery was actually something that like she's dying or she's in a coma, like it went wrong. So it's like. That's the thing, like, that where people are at now is, like, so many people are speculating about where Kate is. You would think that Kensington Palace would just release a photo.
Yeah.
They haven't because they can't. So, like, people think she's, like, in a coma or whatever. It freaks. That's why everybody's tweaking, because it's so unheard of. That, again, like, you are public servants. You are not, I hate to say this, like, entitled to your privacy is how British people feel. And so the fact that nobody is seeing her.
I'm just like scared for her.
Me too. I'm like worried, right? And so it's like, where is she? But then again, the internet takes hold and things spiral. And then there was this thing that happened this week that really catapulted it, is that William was supposed to go to the funeral for the King of Greece, who was his godfather.
Yes, I heard
and then he pulled out for personal matters.
And everyone's like, why would he pull out?
Yes. So that's strange. And then also Charles, we're getting all, to your point of like the transactional of it, like we hear about Charles's prostate cancer. We're getting all the Charles updates, not a single update on Kate. And like, that's also bizarre.
It makes me like scared for her because like
no, something's wrong.
I just don't trust the royal family. Like I think they move sketchy.
Something
and it just freaks me out for her safety and like well-being and mental health. Like especially, I know a lot of people don't believe Meghan Markle, but like when Meghan Markle in her documentary was saying that her mental health was like really hurting and like no one was helping her, and it makes me like scared for them.
Yes. And so that's the thing. It's like nobody ever helps any, like, yes, there are the trade-offs, but it's like the fact that people are being compliant, whether like in Kensington and the media, is what's so fucking weird about it.
If I was them, I'd still like want to go on live and be like, hey guys, it's Kate. By the way, they're holding me hostage.
Just checking it. Britney Spears dancing. She's in her mental facility
for the night.
Like something's wrong. And we have no idea. Like we can joke about it because we have nothing else to do.
No, I'm scared for her.
You're giving us nothing. It's alarming.
Pray for Kate. Like that's scary. Yes. And even if she is sick,
and
like
everyone's like Gone Girling. Like, you know, like all the images from like Ben Affleck and Gone Girl. And then like I posted on my stories, it's like they're like, they aired photos of like Prince Philip literally as like a corpse in a car, like, and they're not posting Kate, like something's up.
Yeah, everyone's like, they're posting like the ins and outs of his, like every little scan and like nothing. They think they could just feed us stuff about him to silence her.
And so now the last thing I'll say is like,
now I'm really invested.
Harry went, obviously after his dad announced his prostate cancer, or sorry, it's not prostate. I don't know if it's prostate, but
something.
And so Harry went, and then Harry came back. But what people are also speculating now is like, if Kate actually is passing away, like William will.
I hope not.
Like William's gonna ask Harry to come back and work as a royal, be a working royal.
Like it was like a meeting.
Yeah. Again, speculation.
I hope she's well.
I know.
This freaks me out.
I know.
Also, that would be so traumatic because Princess Diana died like young.
The family's cursed.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the Kennedys.
Yes. It's really, really scary. And she has 3 young kids.
Oh, God. I really hope she's okay. It freaks me out.
That's why I was like, where is she? I'm like spitting.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Okay. So well wishes for Kate.
Well wishes for Kate.
Crazy. Yes. To pivot to something lighter.
Please.
Kristen Cavallari. Cavallari or Cavalier? Like, how do you say? Cavallari. Kristen Cavallari hard launched her relationship with a young man. I forget his name.
His name is Matthew Estes, something Estes. He's my friend's cousin, actually, which is wild.
God bless. He's very attractive. I think I got kind of in a little bit of like flack because I'm like all about women, and I posted something being like, for the record, she's 37, ... he's 24. Like I posted something kind of shady, and people were DMing me being like, who cares? Like men do it all the time. And my reply was, I don't like when they do it either. And then everyone was like, okay, true.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel that way across the board, we don't care. And my thing is less about the age gap. Sometimes for me, it's about where the age gap is in relation to where you're at in life. Yes. And what I have a problem with is that his last photo says #senior week.
I mean, look,
and that's where I'm running into an issue.
Here's where I run into an issue. I'm by no means ageist. I loved when Harry and Olivia dated. I loved Pete and Kim Kardashian.
Yes, like, I don't care.
I don't care about their age. It seems so, I again talked about this, like the commodification of like couples, like you don't post your boyfriend. I love that, like about you, in the sense of like, you didn't get into a relationship to like
exploit him,
make content.
Yeah.
You know, and like apparently this guy's part of this like guy group, the Montana Boys. They do like thirst trap, like hype house type videos.
They're all stunning,
They're all stunning. And like, it just seems so advantageous. Like this is not a real relationship. This is a relationship for views. This is a guy you for both
have sex with and you don't post about.
Well, no, because she's launching something coming soon with Uncommon James. Like she wants to be in the press.
True,
she did this with Tyler Cameron. Yes, this is not a real relationship, and of course, everyone is going to talk about it because he's 10 and she's 37. Like. You know?
This is my thing. Because this is my thing. I'm all for age gaps when at the right stage. Like, so let's say he was 34 and she was 47.
Yes.
I wouldn't bat an eye. It's because I'm like, how could you relate to someone that just graduated college?
Correct. And you are a mother of 2 kids.
Yeah, it's not the age gap. It's the time of the gap.
It's like where you are in life.
Yes, and that's where I have a hard
the
time.
Same chapter.
Where like I look at his Instagram and his last picture was in college.
Yes.
That's where I'm struggling. And that's why I wish I clarified yesterday on my story where I posted it, because I think people thought I was being like ageist, and I really wasn't. It was really the photos of him in college that threw me off. Because I was thinking like me at that age, me the year after I graduated college, I was a child.
Well, yeah, but she probably doesn't care. Even if they're even actually hooking up, you know what I mean?
I mean, they're definitely having sex.
Yeah, like, so let's say they're having sex. They are. Like, she's just having fun.
Honestly,
this isn't like
it's
he's
probably
going
a
to be the
blast.
stepfather to my children.
Okay,
Probably,
but did you think... I thought it was like kind of, I'm like trying to not be mean. I thought it was a little interesting.
Can I say something controversial?
To go from like dating like an NFL player to like a college football star.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I felt like it was just like an interesting.
But don't you also think he probably like worships the ground she walks on 100%. Right now?
100%. He's literally also the hottest man I've ever seen.
But like he's a child.
Like I don't blame her for getting with him. Like he's hot.
But he's in a different like
and he might be a really nice guy.
Yeah. His what is it? Frontal lobe hasn't fully developed yet.
Oh yeah, he's not even 25.
Yeah.
Don't men's frontal lobe not develop until like 30 or something?
I think it's later. Yeah, later 20s.
Oh Lord.
I know.
Oh Lord, not Ekin-Su.
Oh Lord, not Ekin-Su. God, traitors. Another one I could talk about.
Seriously. Okay, last and final topic that no one's surprised about. Andy Cohen. Well, actually, Liam McSweeney came out with a lawsuit against Andy Cohen today.
Was it a
lawsuit?
Him? Or was it just mentioned in a lawsuit?
Liam McSweeney, alleged that Andy Cohen does cocaine with like housewives and always brings party favors, yada yada.
Yes.
Is anyone surprised?
No. And then Kathy Griffin went on some podcast or was like talking to Page Six, and she was like, I've done Watch What Happens Live twice, and both times he like brought me into his office and offered me a bump of cocaine. And again, I'm like, I'm not surprised. Like, of course Andy Cohen does cocaine. Of course he would invite the housewives to do.
100. Is it appropriate? No. Does this stuff happen?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I think they're also probably like, Andy, you got the coke? Like, I think it's like kind of a thing where they're all partying and they're out and like,
you think that baby shower that he had for his first child
snoring lines.
Yeah. Come on. Dancing on the table.
Yeah, like, come on. But like, this is the thing. It's inappropriate because he is technically their boss. Like, you would think he'd be a little bit more careful. But I do think those lines get blurred in certain industries where you're drinking. We were just saying, like the Tarte Trip, like you're getting blackout drunk on work. Like it does get blurred in some industries. I know that this is an illegal substance.
He also has like very long-standing friendships and relationships with these women. You know what I found the most shocking of this whole thing was like Andy Cohen is best friends with John Mayer, and John Mayer is like sober.
So it's like, interesting.
How, like, what is that relationship like when, like, you have a party friend and then suddenly they're, like...
They just might not, like, party together.
Yeah.
Like, their relationship.
But, I mean, I feel like this is, like, a whole nothing burger. I don't know if Leah was trying to, like, do something with this, but, like, nothing's gonna happen.
This is really random, but when I saw John Mayer in person, I've never thought I saw Edward Cullen more in my life. Like, I can't explain the way his presence was. Like, he was outside in LA wearing a trench coat down to his ankles, and like his skin was like glossed and his hair was like perfectly coiffed, and I was like, Edward Cullen.
Say it out loud.
Not that they look alike, but it was giving walking vampire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, as I've gotten older, I never like had a thing for John Mayer, and I thought he was like such an asshole. But as I've gotten older,
I'm attracted.
I find him so hot.
I've always found him attractive, like physically. I've always loved his music. His personality loses me a little because I don't know if I'm as intellectual in the sense like he goes on these tangents.
Yeah.
These like soliloquies where I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, if I'm being honest. And I'm pretty smart. I have no clue what you're fucking saying.
Your eyes glaze over.
It's like when Edward stares into your soul and like brainwashes like vampires.
Okay. I'm like, okay, suck my blood.
Yeah, I have no clue, but yeah. Sorry, that was a tangent. But
no, I loved it.
Yeah, I think the thing with Andy Cohen, I do think things might come down on him once because there's too many allegations. We have Brandy Glanville suing him this week. We have this Liam McSweeney thing. I think
Bethany Frankel coming.
Bethany, which is crazy. I think there might be like something. I don't know if it's ever gonna like change or what, but I do feel like people are trying. They're trying.
They're definitely trying. I don't know. I think it'll take, and again, maybe it's like the collective, but I'm interested.
You know what's sad about like an Andy Cohen? like to take his job to replace him, you would have to start prepping someone from now.
It would be impossible.
Like, you almost have to start like coding the audience with someone like new over years and years and years, because anyone that steps into his shoes, no one's going to be happy.
Well, it's like Chris Harrison.
That's
and
what I
the
was
guy,
thinking.
Jesse Palmer.
Yep.
You are, when I like watched The Bachelor, I associated so much of it with Chris Harrison. Like, I don't even think about Jesse Palmer.
100%.
You know, or like Jeff Probst in Survivor. If he ever left, like, what do you do?
New season tonight.
Oh, is there? Oh my God.
I think that's it for today. We talked a shit ton.
I loved it.
I loved it too. We will be back next Tuesday. Should we tell people where to follow us?
Yeah, of course. You can
first.
follow me at Lex Nico everywhere. I also have a Substack, lexnico.substack.com.
Fun. I just switched my handle, so it is at Alyssa Amoroso now. And you can follow me there and buy my tea at Tea with Publyssity. Thank you guys so much. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.